The crystal glass shatters against the marble floor. Gasps ripple through the grand hall, but no one moves. Ava Johnson, standing in the center, her hands still trembling, feels every eye drilling into her. Victoria Lancaster turns slowly, lips curling in disdain. "Unbelievable," she mutters, her piercing gaze locking onto Ava like a predator assessing prey. The weight of silence suffocates. A few guests smirk behind their champagne flutes while others glance away, unwilling to acknowledge what they all know is coming. Ava swallows hard, pulse hammering in her ears. She hadn't even touched the glass. It had slipped from the tray when someone brushed past her. But none of that matters. Victoria steps closer, voice smooth but sharp as glass. "Tell me, was it incompetence or just natural clumsiness?" Laughter, soft, knowing, echoes from the crowd. Ava's throat tightens. She grips the edge of her apron, forcing her hands to stay still. Victoria's voice slices through the air. "How dare you touch my glass with those filthy hands?" The words slap harder than any hand could. The murmurs die down, replaced by a collective anticipation, as if watching a slow-burning fire consume everything in its path. Ava stiffens, fingers curling into her palms. I didn't mean to?" Victoria sneers, stepping forward. "You think people like me should drink from something tainted by you?" A ripple of laughter spreads through the crowd, thinly veiled behind faux sympathy. A few guests exchange knowing glances, amusement dancing in their eyes. Ava lowers her gaze. There's no winning this. Not here. Not now. Victoria exhales dramatically. "You people never learn your place." The words sink in deep. Ava clenches her teeth, fighting back the sting in her chest. Ava kneels. The cold marble presses against her knees as she gathers the broken shards, each one sharp against her trembling fingers. A piece slices her palm. She barely flinches. Above her, the room hums with quiet satisfaction. "Forget it," Victoria says with a flick of her wrist. "Just get out. I don't want my home contaminated." Ava stills. The words pierce deeper than the glass ever could. She wants to scream, to demand respect, to tell them all exactly what she thinks, but she doesn't. She can't. Instead, she stands, wiping her bloodied hand against her apron, and walks away. Ava's heels click softly against the marble as she moves toward the exit. Not a single guest stops her. Not one voice speaks up. She glances back, just once. Victoria sips her drink, already engaged in another meaningless conversation, as if Ava never existed, as if this moment, this wound, doesn't matter. Outside, the cold night air bites at her skin. She exhales sharply, fists clenching. They think they've won, but something inside her burns. Ava leans against the iron gate, breath fogging in the night air. How did I end up here? The thought loops in her mind, relentless, unshakable. She was never meant to be just this, never meant to be stepped on, not anymore. Something shifts inside her. This isn't over. Ava Johnson slumps onto the worn-out couch, her body aching from another 16-hour shift. The apartment is dimly lit, the hum of the refrigerator the only sound besides her quiet breathing. "Mommy?" A small voice stirs her from exhaustion. Jordan stands in the doorway, rubbing his sleepy eyes. Ava forces a smile, masking her fatigue. "Hey, baby, go back to sleep." His stomach growls, a cruel reminder of what she can't provide. She strokes his cheek. "Tomorrow will be better, I promise." But promises don't pay rent. And the final notice on the counter mocks her every effort. Late at night, while Jordan sleeps, Ava stares at an old acceptance letter from a university she never attended. She remembers the guidance counselor's words. "With your grades, you could go anywhere. but scholarships didn't cover everything. A single mother at 17, she had no safety net. Instead of a college, she got minimum wage. Instead of dreams, she survived. She crumples the letter. What could have been doesn't feed her son. She needs a solution, fast. Try the Lancasters, Camille suggests, sliding a number across the cafe counter. Ava hesitates. The Lancasters, Camille scoffs. Rich folks in Beverly Hills, they need help, pays decent, if you can handle them. Ava bites her lip. The thought of working as a maid stings, but unpaid bills sting worse. That night, she studies Jordan's sleeping face, tracing the curve of his cheek. Pride won't put food on the table. She exhales and dials the number. A voice answers, clipped and formal. Lancaster residence. Hi, I'm calling about the housekeeping job. Ava steps into the Lancaster mansion, the scent of polished wood and expensive perfume hitting her instantly. Straight to the back, the butler mutters, not meeting her eyes. She passes glittering chandeliers, walls lined with art worth more than her entire existence. No one acknowledges her until they do. A woman in an emerald dress glances at Ava, then whispers to another guest. Laughter follows. Ava squares her shoulders. She's here to work, not to belong. But something tells her, this job won't be simple. Ava! Victoria's sharp voice cuts through the air. Ava stops scrubbing the floor and looks up, but Victoria isn't looking at her. She's addressing the butler instead. Make sure she cleans the guest bathrooms next, the ones upstairs, the big ones. Ava swallows the bitterness rising in her throat. Every task she's assigned is backbreaking, scrubbing, lifting, carrying. The other staff get easier jobs, but for her, it's always the hardest work. Victoria never meets her eyes, never says her name directly. Ava grips the brush tighter. She is invisible, yet under constant scrutiny. Laughter echoes from the dining room. Ava pauses, her hands gripping a tray. People like her should know their place. Victoria's voice carries through the cracked door. More laughter follows. Ava's stomach tightens. You're too generous, another voice chimes in. She should be grateful to even be here. Ava forces herself to step forward, expression unreadable. As she enters, Victoria lifts her wine glass, smirking. For a second their eyes meet, cold amusement on one side, quiet fury on the other. Ava lowers her gaze. She has no allies here, only silence. You don't have to do all that alone. Chloe's soft voice startles Ava. She looks up, surprised. Victoria's daughter stands by the counter watching her with something Ava hasn't seen in days, kindness. It's fine, Ava says quickly. She doesn't need pity. Chloe hesitates, then lowers her voice. My mother, she doesn't mean... Chloe. Victoria's voice slices through the moment like a blade. Chloe flinches. Don't get too comfortable with the help, Victoria says, her gaze cold. Chloe lowers her head and walks away. Ava exhales. Even kindness is controlled here. Ava counts the crumpled bills in her hands. Not enough for rent, not enough for Jordan's school supplies. She exhales, gripping the money tighter. This job is temporary, a means to an end. The insults, the degrading tasks, the cold stares. She swallows it all. But every cruel word, every act of disrespect chips away at something inside her. She glances at the mansion's towering walls. She won't break, not yet. But something inside her whispers. How much longer can she endure? Keep your head down and don't mess up. Ava grips the tray tighter, her fingers pressing into the silver surface. Around her, the ballroom hums with laughter and clinking glasses. CEOs, politicians, and socialites move effortlessly beneath chandeliers, their conversations dripping with wealth and power. She moves through the crowd, carefully placing crystal flutes in manicured hands, but the stares linger. Judgmental, dismissive. One woman whispers behind a jeweled hand. A man eyes her with mild curiosity before looking away, uninterested. Ava exhales, steadying herself. Just a few more hours. Survive the night, get paid, and leave. The tray tilts. The glass slips. Time slows. The champagne flute crashes against the marble, splintering into 1,000 jagged pieces. Ava freezes. The room does too. For a moment there is only silence, then a sharp, cutting laugh. Unbelievable. Victoria's voice slices through the quiet. Ava's pulse pounds in her ears. You people just can't do anything right, can you? Victoria sighs, shaking her head in mock disappointment. A few guests chuckle. Others glance away, their discomfort obvious, but none speak. Ava bends quickly, hands trembling as she reaches for the shards. Someone whispers. Another giggles. She bites the inside of her cheek. Hold it together. Don't give them the satisfaction. But the weight of their stares presses down, each second stretching into eternity. Ava keeps her head down, gathering the broken glass, though her vision blurs. Victoria isn't done. You know, I gave you a chance, she says, loud enough for everyone to hear. You should be grateful. Ava's hands still. Grateful. The word twists inside her, coiling tight like a spring ready to snap. A waiter moves to help, but Victoria stops him with a glance. Number. Let her clean up her own mess. Ava swallows hard. Not here, not now. Her fingers curl into fists. The laughter, the whispers, the sheer indifference. It's suffocating. And then Victoria leans in, voice low but sharp. People like you don't belong in places like this. Ava's breath catches. No one defends her. No one stops Victoria. And then, Victoria lifts a hand. Security steps forward. You're done here, she says simply. Get her out. Ava straightens, locking eyes with her. She won't beg, she won't break, but her hands won't stop shaking. The guards grip Ava's arms, not harshly, but firm enough. Like she's a problem to be removed. The crowd parts as she's led toward the exit. Murmurs ripple through the room, but no one intervenes. Near the door, Chloe stands frozen, her face pale with shock. Their eyes meet for a fleeting second before Chloe looks away. Even she won't step forward. Ava doesn't struggle. Don't argue, she just walks. Behind her, unnoticed in the crowd, a guest lowers their phone, the recording complete. The night air is sharp against Ava's skin as she steps outside. She exhales, but the ache in her chest won't leave. Her job, her dignity, all of it stolen in an instant. But inside the mansion, a video is being shared, and soon the world will see everything. Keep moving, stay invisible. Ava weaves through the ballroom, her tray balanced with practiced precision. Around her, conversations flow effortlessly. Deals are sealed over champagne. Laughter punctuates hushed whispers of power. Yet she is nothing more than an afterthought, a presence acknowledged only when needed. Victoria stands near the grand staircase, effortless in her command of the room. She belongs here. Ava does not. Their eyes meet just for a second, cold, calculating. Ava looks away, her grip tightening. Just finish the shift, just survive the night. But unease lingers in the pit of her stomach, an omen she can't ignore. The glass wobbles. Ava tries to steady it, but the weight shifts, too fast, too sudden. A sharp crack echoes as crystal shatters against the marble floor. The room stills. Conversations die. Dozens of eyes turn to her, waiting. Victoria steps forward, a slow, amused smirk playing on her lips. An opportunity. You people just can't do anything right, can you? Her voice is light, almost playful, but the intent cuts deep. A soft chuckle from one guest. An awkward shuffle from another. No one stops her. Ava bends to clean the shards, her hands trembling. The weight of their judgment suffocates her. She forces herself to breathe, hold it together. But Victoria isn't finished, and neither is this moment. Ava straightens, gripping the broken pieces. Victoria's gaze sweeps over her like she's nothing more than a stain on the evening's perfection. "You should be grateful," she muses, sipping her champagne. "I gave you a chance, and this is how you repay me?" Ava's fingers clench around the glass. Heat rises in her chest, but she swallows it down. Grateful for what? The murmurs return, a quiet hum of discomfort. But no one speaks. No one stops this. She meets Victoria's eyes, steady despite the fire burning inside her. "I never asked for your kindness." A flicker of irritation crosses Victoria's face. The game is supposed to be one-sided. Ava isn't playing along. A snap of fingers, a nod toward the guards. She's done here. The uniformed men step forward. Ava doesn't move. She won't beg. She won't plead. But the humiliation settles deep, its weight unbearable. Firm hands close around Ava's arms. She doesn't resist, but the shame stings more than any force they could use. The whispers follow her as she's led toward the exit. Someone snickers. Someone else mutters, "What did she expect?" She bites the inside of her cheek. She won't cry, not here, not for them. A glance over her shoulder. Victoria lifts her glass in a silent toast, victorious. But in the corner, unnoticed by all, a guest lowers their phone, the recording saved. The night isn't over, not yet. The night air is colder than she remembers. Ava exhales, her breath shaky, her mind racing. Job gone. Dignity shattered, but something shifts. The weight of injustice lingers in the air, unseen yet undeniable. And inside the ballroom, a video begins to circulate. Soon, the world will see everything. Ava jolts awake. Her phone won't stop buzzing. Calls, messages, endless notifications. She blinks at the screen. Her name is everywhere. Justice for Ava is trending. Victoria's fall. Elite hostess caught in racist scandal. Her breath catches. It wasn't just a video anymore. Celebrities, activists, everyday people, all calling for accountability. Ava scrolls through comments. "Stay strong, we see you." No one should go through this. This isn't just about one night, it's about all of us. Then a direct message, short, to the point. "Ava, let's talk. You don't belong in that house, you belong in a boardroom." She frowns. Jonathan Hayes, the billionaire entrepreneur? Her fingers hover over the reply button. This exposure could be a blessing, or another battle. Ava stares at the message. It has to be a joke. Then, another notification. "I saw what happened. I know injustice when I see it. Let me help." Ava exhales, her pulse unsteady. Why would someone like him care? Still, curiosity wins. An hour later, she's sitting across from Jonathan Hayes himself. Calm, composed, eyes sharp with purpose. "You're not here to work for someone else ever again," he says. "You're here to build something." Ava scoffs. "You saw a viral story, that's all." Jonathan leans forward. "I saw resilience. Use this moment. Don't let it use you." She hesitates. Survival has always been her goal. But power? That's never been an option. Until now. Jonathan slides a folder across the table. "Your name, your business, your future." Ava exhales. No more being invisible. She picks up the pen. This time, she writes her own story. The launch is bigger than she ever imagined. Ava's cleaning service isn't just about spotless rooms, it's about dignity, about giving others what she never had. Clients flood in, hotels, businesses, even high-profile names. Supporting Ava is supporting change, the headlines read. Her inbox overflows. Investors, influencers, people who believe in her. And Victoria, she's nowhere in sight. Ava leans back in her office chair. Her name, on the building, on contracts, on people's lips, no longer whispered in pity, but spoken with respect. Jonathan smirks from across the desk. "Told you," Ava chuckles. For the first time in forever, she's not just surviving, she's winning. But the world isn't done watching, and neither is Victoria. Victoria refreshes her email, another cancellation. Her name is Poison. Brands dropping her. Investors walking away. The video destroyed her reputation. No scripted apology could fix it. She tries, tearful, composed, begging for grace. The internet isn't buying it. Comments flood in. You weren't sorry when you had power. Apologizing because you got caught? No thanks. Ava watches it all unfold from her office. Jonathan smirks. You could say something. She shakes her head. I don't need to. Victoria built her empire on control. Now it's crumbling. And Ava, she's just getting started. Miss Carter, they're ready for you. Ava nods, stepping into the sleek, glass-walled boardroom. A year ago, this world felt unreachable. Now, her name sits on contracts, her influence undeniable. She adjusts her blazer, a symbol of everything she fought for. But as she takes her seat, a familiar voice stiffens her spine. Hello, Ava. She turns. Victoria, once poised, untouchable, now pale, nervous, and out of place. Ava exhales, masking surprise. This meeting isn't what she expected. And judging by Victoria's uneasy stare, she didn't expect this either. Victoria clears her throat, her voice unsteady. I need a job. Ava leans back, studying the woman who once humiliated her. The designer clothes are gone, the arrogance stripped away. Funny, Ava says, measured. I remember when you told me I didn't belong in places like this. Victoria swallows hard. I lost everything. The sponsors, the endorsements. No one wants to be associated with me anymore. Ava remains silent, letting the weight of those words settle. Victoria shifts uncomfortably. I know I made mistakes, but I just need a chance. I'm willing to work under you. For the first time, Victoria looks small, desperate, vulnerable. Ava drums her fingers on the table. A decision looms. Power isn't about taking revenge. It's about choosing how to use it. Ava exhales steady. Victoria, I don't hire people who don't respect others. Victoria's face blanches. The reality crashes in. She opens her mouth, but no words come. Ava stands, pushing her chair back smoothly. You once decided who mattered and who didn't. Turns out the world doesn't forget. She heads for the door, stopping just once. Respect isn't given, it's earned. As she walks away, Victoria is left in silence. Not dismissed, just irrelevant. And Ava Carter? She doesn't look back. Ava walked away with her dignity intact. But what if it were you? Would you have offered Victoria a second chance? Or would you have made her feel the pain she once caused? Comment below. How would you have handled it? Stories like Ava's happen every day. Respect isn't a privilege, it's a right. If this story moved you, share it. Let's make sure no one is ever made to feel less than they are. This isn't just a story, it's a conversation. Your voice matters. Hit like, subscribe, and stay with us for more stories that challenge, inspire, and push for change. Because change starts with awareness.